education and awareness campaigns,
Yes.
all aimed primarily at the outset with replacing the British monarch with a Jamaican president chosen by the people and accountable to the people. We will make the Caribbean Court of Justice the final court of appeal. We shall replace the British, the United Kingdom Privy Council.
You're deaf?
And have a court which brings justice at the highest level to our people. We shall strengthen parliamentary accountability. We shall introduce impeachment and recall.
Of course. If you got prison, got prison.
And we shall have committees chaired by opposition members. Because trust me, that is how you ensure that everybody upholds
the law,
the values which they pledged to do when they took the oath under the Constitution as they were sworn in. We shall have a discussion and consider fixed election dates and term limits, and this is no idle promise. And to those of you who are not here but are listening, we shall expand the Senate to broaden representation to include the diaspora, persons with disabilities, and the Rastafari and Maroon communities. Inclusion for all.
Love that.
We will also prioritize legal changes that reflect our identity and deepen justice. You heard our manifesto in Patois? Well, we will recognize the Jamaican language as an essential part of our Jamaican identity. We shall protect historically marginalized groups, particularly people of African descent, through a national ban on hair discrimination. A reparations advocacy framework grounded in international law. We shall have legal protection of our ancestral spaces and our cultural practices. We will have full recognition of Rastafari as an indigenous religion with associated rights.
That's what's up.
And we will reach an accord with Maroon communities to give a modern interpretation to their ancestral treaty rights. You think we're done? No. We are going to be advancing gender equity, protection of the elderly, and the rights of persons with disabilities. We will implement a progressive beach policy
Albert, big up.
by reviewing the Beach Control Act. We will guarantee public access while balancing tourism and private use.
Of course, that is it.
We will join the International Criminal Court to reinforce Jamaica's commitment to global justice. And comrades, Jamaicans, we are going to be expanding the legal services provided by the Legal Aid Clinic to ensure that persons who have constitutional matters or civil matters who cannot afford to retain a lawyer will be able to do so, ensuring that justice is not reserved just for the wealthy. We will complete the long-promised review of the Domestic Violence Act, which was introduced under our government, and we will implement the recommendations to hold abusers accountable. We shall provide parish facilities to provide spaces of safety and support for victims.
Big up
we will enact a basic financial services law to establish minimum services which we, the consumer, should be provided with, so that our complaints will be heard and our concerns will be taken into account by financial institutions. That too is a partnership. It's only a glimpse into our future. We have a man who passed the most legislation ever in the history of this country. And it was legislation designed to uplift the people at every time. So comrades, the word is love. We bring you love as we bring you justice for all.
People want the leadership and promise to walk with you, but then they walk away from their plans. But how many would sit with you, really sit with you? You should never have to choose between your education and your future. The first in your family, accepted in college or university, will get a full scholarship because you matter. Student loan repayments will be capped as a percentage of what you actually earn, and you won't be asked to pay a cent on it. This election is not just about change, it's about your future, your family. It's about you. They had to choose you, and they chose themselves. You deserve a better life. Jamaica, time come, and that time is now.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, that time is now. A round of applause again for the first presentation as we move through our Jamaica Love acronym. Now, one of our nation's favorite teachers is also on our slate of Elite 63 candidates, and he must be wondering why I'm sitting with the M in the acronym, because this is the modern infrastructure panel. We don't do the A, access to education, as yet. Rest, trust me. On this side, we can spell Jamaica. You are indeed up next. So following behind the Justice for All conversation, we invite Senator Damian Crawford, a man known for his creativity in finding solutions, a passionate advocate in access to education for all. Senator Crawford.
Thank you very much. I will stand on the protocols that have been observed, save and except to say a special recognition, of course, to the leader of the People's National Party and, as we hope, the next Prime Minister of Jamaica. I thank you all for attending, for your time and for your attention. And I have been tasked with speaking to you on access to quality education. Our position for education is based, first of all, on the reality that education is in crisis. And not only is education in crisis, there is great deterioration over the last 10 years. Some of the facts that we must acknowledge is that over 11,000 children are not achieving basic mastery at the 6th grade level in mathematics. Additionally, 18% are achieving 5 subjects, including math and English. That means 82% has not achieved the basic graduating numbers that we desire. Indeed, we have also recognized that there is a concern at the absenteeism, but also at the literacy level. In the last 10 years, literacy in 2015 reduced from 84% in 2015 to 65% in 2024. The same subject, about 5 subjects including math and English, reduced from 28% in 2015 to 18% in 2024. Therefore, we acknowledge that education is in crisis. The second acknowledgement is that the mantra of education is a contract between God and man that states, first of all, that every child can learn, which God has allowed, but the second, every child must, is the duty of our government, of our teachers, and of our parents. We therefore are committed to achieving that role that humans have gained in that contract with God. Our overall objective and the ultimate aim within our lifetime is to have 1 degree per household or its equivalent in vocation, suggesting therefore level 4 of heart qualification in vocations. That, however, would need multiple tenets, multiple hurdles to be crossed for persons, first of all, to be able to attend the university, and the second of all,
Like
to
up
be
the
able to be
live, guys. Like
successful
up the live.
at
Like
that
up the
level.
live.
We look at the first proposal that we have made for university, which is the first in the family scholarship. This indicates, therefore, that the first person to matriculate to university would receive, as indicated by the leader in his budget presentation, a full scholarship to the university. We have received questions about what is a family and how is a family defined. It is simple. There are 2 definitions to the family. The first is shared ancestry, and the second is shared roof. Any of which that child qualifies, that child will benefit from the first in the family scholarship. Our numbers have been calculated and reported, and it's important to indicate to students currently at the university that for the first year, our numbers considered 4 groups of university students. So not only new university students, but current university in first year will receive their second year, and current in second year will receive their third year, and equally current in third year will receive their fourth year. We also recognize that outside of those who may receive the scholarship, some are still in need of having a student loan. And again, as the leader has indicated in his budget presentation, which is why I'm so confused by the multiplicity of arguments that we have not proposed our plans. But the leader also stated that those persons who have applied to student loan, the payment will be tied to their income to ensure that student loan isn't a albatross around the necks of individuals who have the necessary expenses of survival. We have also indicated that for those who are not yet employed, student loan will not start until the start of employment. Therefore, there will be no requirement for payment. But before we get to university, we have to ensure that there is early exposure to children for their brain function. Research has indicated that 80% of the brain function occurs in the first 1,000 days. And to that extent, we will ensure that we work with the churches to create facilities for infant learning in each community so that we can have organized access to brain function.
Thanks for the follow, thanks for the likes, guys.
So our
Thank
children
you.
can get that.
Thank you for the likes, thank you for the follow, alright?
Additionally, we recognize absenteeism as a major problem in Jamaica.
Yes.
Recently, we celebrated 22%, a return to 22% absenteeism, quote unquote, pre-COVID levels. Chronic absenteeism is suggested to be 10%. So we are celebrating twice what is suggested to be the chronic absenteeism levels. And this is for the general reality. Deep rural absenteeism has been said to be 55%, and rural absenteeism 32%. To this extent, we have recognized some of the reasons for absenteeism to include access to transportation. And it's important to differentiate access and affordability because there are some communities being deep rural that have no access for them to even consider affordability. To that extent, we had indicated the RIDE program. And the RIDE program is to give $10,000 per month or $2,500 per week as a supplement to individuals who are coming from communities that may, one, not have access to make access more available, but two, may not be able to afford to ensure that they can afford getting to school. Regardless of the quality of school and teacher, absence would indicate that the child will not be able to perform satisfactorily. We also recognize nutrition to be a problem. And in recognizing that nutrition is a problem, we relied upon the research that said 56% of Jamaicans have food insecurity. Some graver than others, but 56%. Our current PATH program lunch is targeting less than 30% of our children, indicating that approximately 26% are still not accessing the necessary nutrition that is needed. To this extent, we not only decided to expand the number of students to over 240,000 students, but also to increase the amount from $180 to $400 per child per day. The current $180 have caused for an apartheid system in education, where many children on PATH have to join a separate line of segregation and divided from persons who are affording other lunches. Principals have also started to offer 3 days of lunch because the money allotted cannot provide for the entire 5 days. Time come for that to change under the People's National Bank. We will ensure that the stories of literacy problems in high school are a thing of the past by focusing on literacy and numeracy in the first 4 years, indicating that by the grade 6, all our children should be literate and numerate with the necessary interventions to correct the necessary things for those children. We will host camps, we will host evening programs, we will host summer school to ensure that those who unfortunately have been robbed of opportunity don't remain in the lines of the level 3 and level 2, but all come to pathway 1, which is the aim for our children.
Why them people are constantly restrict me? You
Finally,
not understand.
We will ensure that our children have great access to the necessities of a teacher in the classroom. We have seen the teacher migration and the negatives that have caused, especially in mathematics and vocation. And to that extent, we are proposing a retention plan for teachers so that Jamaica become more competitive for the services of our wonderful teachers that are constantly being asked to migrate into other spaces. This retention plan will change some of the realities that we have seen, where students doing an exam in 5th form have not had a math teacher since 3rd form.
Wow.
It therefore explains why less than 40% of our children taking math are passing math at this particular point in time.
Wow.
The teacher retention plan would include, first of all, greater access to housing through the NHT. It will include reservation of housing units built through the NHT and under government programs. It would include graduating access to motor vehicle concession. It would include forgiveness of student loan for the years that they remain in the public sector. It would include internet as a tool of trade to ensure access to preparation and information. And it would include ensuring their environs, both in the classroom and the staff room, are sufficient for them to feel comfortable moving forward. We believe that our access to education plans are holistic, fulsome, and will ensure that we move the needle from just access to quality access for our children. Therefore, we are putting forward an education plan that is based on love for our children, love for our future, and love for our country. Thank you, Jamaica.
Thank you very much, Senator Crawford, for elucidating how critical education is as a bridge to connecting dreams to reality. It is indeed a powerful investment. And as he spoke, my mind went to any of us having to go to the bank to get some money to make an investment in ourselves. The bank looks at the whole human sitting before that particular agent. Where you live, we need to establish that you are grounded and can be found. What is your record of earning and payment? We need to see where you're coming from to figure out where you can go What are the full suite of resources that you will need to make good on this investment in your business? And if you need to have access to an incubator, that is done too. Our children deserve no less than a full investment in the whole life experience from infancy right up to their tertiary level education. And the People's National Party will in fact deliver. Now, as we heard that approach to scaffolding around our children, the different things that they will need to build that towering strength that of course is going to impact our economy, there is a foundation on which these things must also be built. And I have joining me for our first of 3 panels, 2 men who understand very well what it means to build and to sustain what is built based on the portfolios they manage, the enterprises that they run, the hardline negotiations they've had to do in and outside of government. And I would love to hear from each of you. First, we have Philip Paulwell, who joins us to speak to the concept of digital access and what people will need as part of the modern infrastructure, reliable energy and affordable energy as well. And I also have joining me on this panel, Mr. Mikhail Phillips, who will connect the dots for us around sustainable and secure access to transportation and road network. So for both of you, you serve in capacities and advocate around issues that form the foundation on which society arguably is built. Let's start first with your understanding of the role that you will play in the next administration.
It is quite clear. Our leader has said to us at all our shadow cabinet meetings that for Jamaica to be able to experience true happiness and development, we have to grow the economy. Our economy has been stagnant under this JLP administration, and you're not going to get true satisfaction from our people unless there is appreciable growth. And one of the main factors against growth so far is the uncompetitiveness of our economy. And what has driven that has been the high price of energy.
Facts.
In 2012, when we returned to office,
Double tap up
the
the
price
screen,
of
people.
electricity
Double tap up the screen.
was 32 cents per kilowatt hour. By the time we left office, it was 23 cents per kilowatt hour. Today, the price of electricity is above 40 US cents per kilowatt hour. And that doesn't only affect businesses, but it affects consumers because electricity goes into every aspect of goods and services that we produce. So we have a plan, and we have been dying to get into office to get this plan back on track. Yes, we are still exuberant about getting things done in Jamaica. Now, what are some of the elements of the plan? And we're going to be coming from where we left off, because nothing really has happened in the last 9 years in energy. We had transformed, diversify fuel sources. When we came into office, we were generating electricity, 92% of which was from fossil fuel. By the time we ended office, 60% of our fuel was being generated from LNG. We were close to 20%. For the first time, Jamaica was leading the Caribbean in terms of renewable energy. We established the single largest solar factory in Jamaica, 20 megawatts. And very importantly, Wigton, which was divested recently by the government, was a demonstration of how government can effectively implement a project of renewable energy, and it worked very well. So where are we now? We're going to build on the legislation that we passed in 2015 to modernize electricity. That legislation assumed that we would have been negotiating with JPSCO to end most of those provisions of the license that are not in keeping with a modern society by the year 2020. Mr. Vaz is just realizing now that the license is coming to an end in 2027. We wanted it to end in 2020, And we have precedent for that because it was our administration that ended the 50-year license of cable and wireless. And what are the elements of this new license and the new regime? First of all, we have to have more competition. And I'm a competition man on the energy side. By that we mean we have to ensure that Jamaicans will have access to that essential facility known as the grid to generate from their rooftop solar that can be sold to the grid. We have termed our plan Power for the People. Power for the People. And secondly, we also have to do a lot more in terms of large-scale solar generation. I'm a solar man because when we did that first solar project in 2014, the price of solar electricity was US 19 cents per kilowatt hour. Today, you can generate using the solar panels, the inverters, and batteries at below 10 US cents per kilowatt hour, and we don't have to pay for the sun. So we are going to be embarking on a revolution to bring the price of electricity down, focusing on solar energy. One element that we are going to tackle up front is the fact that so many of our people are so poor that unfortunately they steal electricity. And you and I pay for that, up to 20% of the bill. We believe that the government ought to take responsibility for assisting our brothers and sisters to meet that need. What has become for us now a real right to have electricity, because in this modern society you cannot. And we have done all the experiment, we have done the engineering, and we are going to be outfitting in many of our poor communities microgrids using solar again to generate electricity. And I can tell you, and Florida is going to be happy with this. The PNP government is going to be building 50,000 homes in our first term. And each one of those homes will have solar facility generating electricity free of the grid. And finally, because I could go on all night, there are some inherent, I believe, unconscionable features of our system of electricity. Firstly, I believe that consumers ought to be given more power. I find it totally unacceptable that you can have fluctuating voltage that affects a person's appliances. And then when you report that your fridge is damaged, they will tell you, but if you read the fine print of your contract, you will see that
like up the live, guys. Like up the live. Like up the live. Like up the live. Tap the screen.
We're going to make those unfair terms and contracts unenforceable. Unenforceable. And because I want my brother to be able to say something, I will yield to my brother. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, thank you very much. Philip, it's always a pleasure to hear your passion about powering our nation. Now, before we hear from Mikhail, I want to invite a member of the audience to join me on stage to pose a question to either of our two panelists. You may raise your hand and a member of the team will select who joins. While that is taking place, the hands are going up. I'll now pass the microphone, as they say, to you, Mikhail. Looking at the transport sector, quite a bit has been happening, a flurry of activities, some would say, heading into the elections. But what's important is for us to understand some of the core issues that Jamaicans have, and roads stay at the top of the agenda, whether rural or urban. We're promising road, but where are we getting money to fix road and build road?
Well,
when a woman feel that's serious, but
public transport is concerned.
You understand what I say?
We, the People's National Party,
that just like a woman just said that.
Investors in the public transport sector as thieves and rapists. We see them
take that very
as
seriously.
investors in an industry that is a part of the growth of the Jamaican economy. Now, we remember that the JUTC was formed by the People's National Party in 1988. And that came at great sacrifice to not only the franchise holders, but to the taxpayers. And if we were to look at the JUTC now, to when we left government in 2016, we can see the degradation of the JUTC under this administration. So in 2016, we had 450 buses rolling out on a daily basis, compared to under 300 today, even with over 200 new buses. We saw the subsidy of the government of the day in 2016 was about 4 billion. Today it is about 11 billion. The losses of the JUTC then was about $2 billion. We're looking at about 11 billion for this financial year. And when Darrell Vaz is completed with the JUTC, we should see about a $17 billion loss this financial year.
Stop arguing with the woman.
So
stop arguing
we
with the woman,
understand
brother.
transportation. And we,
Stop arguing with the woman, brother.
as an administration, look at the ride sharing also. That we believe that those who participate in the ride share industry in Jamaica, and we do welcome competition, but they have to abide by the rules and laws of the country that they're operating in. Because we can't have those who participate in the public transport sector who has to apply for a PPV license, and then those who operate on the app decide that they operate utilizing the white plates, while we have young men are being prosecuted for running robots using the same white plates. So we want equity for all in the transportation industry. We spoke about, in my own budget presentation over 4 years ago, about the rural bus system, about how it is that we're going to have a school bus system moving 20,000 students daily compared to the 4,000 that has been proposed by this administration. And I think we need to get to a point as a country that we need to want the best for our students, for our people. We have 1 million Jamaicans that are dependent on public transport. We have to find a way in moving those persons in a first-class manner, because Jamaicans do deserve the best. So when we see the minister purchasing used buses that are 10 years old, 150,000 miles on each bus, not kilometers, miles. We have started conversation with manufacturers of the buses, those that manufacture currently for the JUTC. They are willing to come and retrofit buses from 15-seaters to 20-seaters to 35-seaters with chassis that are conducive for our roadway. And there are many questions that are still remaining, because for $1.4 billion for the buses that are currently purchased, with the buses costing about 400 million, we ask, where is the other $1 billion going to? So, moving forward, we have to look at the Kingston metropolitan area. We spoke about light rail from Portmore, Spanish Town coming into Kingston. We're talking about how it is that we build modern transportation center in rural Jamaica and all across the island, in our town centers, that can facilitate Jamaicans, not only the bus drivers and the taxi drivers, but also those commuters that have to take public transport. When we look at our roadways, we have to go back to a dedicated fund in financing our 27,000 kilometers of roads right across the island. We have proposed that looking at the lengthman system and also a road maintenance system, that we are going to be debushing our roadways on a quarterly basis, not once a year. That is being done now. How it is that we get grade 3 contractors and grade 2 contractors involved in a road maintenance program, that we will be maintaining those roads on a quarterly basis or half-yearly basis as the finances can afford to. But we see not only the construction of highways and the development of highways, but how it is that we rehabilitate our roadways in the interlands, in the interior of our country, where the majority of Jamaicans do reside. We see that as an important point to the development of the country, not only to agriculture, where we'll have to now partner with the Ministry of Agriculture, not only developing farm roads, but how would we develop community roads? Because not only getting it from the farm, but from the farm to market is also important. So we see road development as a major plank of the growth of the economy, but how it is that we move persons from home to work, home to school, and home to enjoyment, and for a better life for those in the interior of our country.
All right, thank you very much. We had, I think, a depth of and wealth of information coming from both of our speakers on this first panel. Hope you've been taking notes. So when the questions are asked about what plans we have for energy, what plans we have for education, for justice, for transportation and road work and maintenance, you're able to point to some of these key, critical and succinct ideas and commitments from the People's National Party. Please, a round of applause for Mikhail Phillips and Philip Paulwell. Oh, we're going to ask you to stay with us for a second while we introduce for an injection of creative energy. Ladies and gentlemen, she's no stranger to the stage, no stranger to the microphone, and having seen and heard her perform time and time again, no stranger to speaking to the soul. Please make welcome to the stage the effervescent and talented Jody Ann Pantry.
Good night, everyone. Can we take that from the top, please? Thank you very much. Can we take that from the top, please? Thank you. Thank you. I know everyone in this room knows this song.
Wow. Wow.
Can I hear a hallelujah in the house?
Wow.
For the people who are not afraid
Wow.
to say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Can I get a hallelujah?
That was amazing.
Thank you, Lord.
Wow.
Keep it flowing, DJ.
Wow.
I chose this song because everyone in here have been through something before that shook or rocked your world. But you didn't stay down there. You got back up, right? Take it from the top. You got back up. And that is all that matters. So this is a message to every single individual in here tonight. Gonna break
everybody else and
this change around me.
now go on something.
Gonna learn to fly again. Maybe hard, but you'll do it when you're back on your feet again. Soon these tears will all be drying. Soon these eyes will see the sun. Might take time, but you'll see it. Hey, when we're back on our feet again. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let me start down. When I'm back on my feet again, I won't feet. Everybody stand on your feet, stand on your feet. When I'm back home, hey, I'll walk around down the street. All right, hey, won't be long till I hear it. Everybody, when we're back on our feet again. One more time for the chorus. When we're back on our feet. I'll walk around down the street again. Hey, and they'll all look at me and say, you were very, very strong. PNP is not going back again. We will keep to our words and promises over and over and over again. No, we're not gonna crumble or falter. No. We will learn to be stronger. Hey, soon these tears will all be drying. Soon these eyes will see the sun. Won't be long till I see it. Mr. Palmer, I see you when I'm back on my feet again. Oh, Lord, when we're back on our, just wave your hand in the universe. Wait for your victory when you're back on your feet again. God's got you. You'll be back on your feet again. One no dash you away, on your feet again. Keep it flowing, DJ. Keep it going. All right, everybody, let's put your hands together like this. Come on. Are we exiting together? No, don't worry, sure about it. 'Cause every little thing, every little, it's gonna be ooh, yeah. Singing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing, every little thing, hey, it's gonna be it'll be alright. Hey, rise up this morning. What we do? Smile with the three little birds. What them do? Sit by her, singing sweet of what? Of melodies. No, singing, yeah. This is my message too. Thank you so much. Let me hear you say whoa. Sing whoa. Sing whoa. Sing whoa. La 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 la. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
And thank you, the inimitable Jody and Pantry. I know there was a money pull up in the crowd for you when you started with Back on Your Feet again. Every comrade felt that from the tip of our heads to the toes of our feet. Give it up one more time for Jody and Pantry. Now, you know it's not a Jamaican event if I don't have an announcement for a car that needs to be moved. So, listen up. I've been told that the back left tire is missing. So if you drive a silver Nissan SUV, 5095KG, you're blocking. Let's go again. And remember, this is a high impact moment. There may be a missing tire. 5095KG, a silver Nissan SUV. You're blocking a fellow member of our audience, and we're asking for you to move your vehicle as quickly as possible. Thank you. So we're moving into our next pillar, and if you're counting with us, we're at the first, or spelling with us, we're at the first, well, the second A in Jamaica, agriculture. And this is a big one. I love that I'm seeing a representative from the Breadbasket Parish of St. Elizabeth on the stage. So, not in order of seniority this time, but of course, from the delicate, the most refined, to the medium refined, because I'm not going to say my Gensec is not refined, okay? So please, welcome to our stage today, the MP candidate for South St. Elizabeth, coming to us, Miranda Wellington, a firebrand on the ground, ready to show up for her people in the nation's parliament, and of course our General Secretary and MP candidate for Eastern Westmoreland and the party's spokesperson on agriculture, Dr. Dayton Campbell. So let me start with Lady Miranda, because you are now in a very interesting position. You are seeing what life is like in that breadbasket parish, how much of our nation's food resources really rest on the success of that parish, and for farmers to get what they need to provide for our nation's tables. What do you see as some of the critical areas for solutions to jump in immediately from a People's National Party government? What do your farmers need from you?
My fellow Jamaicans, my comrades, and of course, special shout out to
Ryan
my
Campbell,
future
what up,
Prime
man?
Minister,
Salute to you, bro.
Marky G.
One.
I am from the breadbasket parish indeed, and all Jamaicans know that our farmers are the heartbeat of our economy. And we want to bring back a sense of dignity and independence to our farmers. But firstly, we have to look at what are the ways that we can empower them again. And I'm very excited about our manifesto plan for agriculture, because as a youth and from a community that is predominantly farm-based, I want to see our youths go back into agriculture. And we are very proud to showcase this in our manifesto. So youths in agriculture need the kind of support that we see many of our farmers across the island needing. And what is critical about getting our farmers back farming is that we no longer should have food on our plates that are from the States. So we need to protect them. The local industry needs to be protected. And my future agricultural minister will tell us a lot more about the areas, but agriculture, innovation and technology that is critical to getting back our farmers on board, especially our youths. And there are quite a lot of ideas that we have showcased in our manifesto, including geomapping, sending our farmers to the market without moving. That is critical, because there's a critical disconnect between our farmers and the market. So also, I'm from a predominantly drought-riddled area. We have to protect our farmers in investing in seeds that are drought resistance. You know, what we see is that they're spending so much money, so much lost in agriculture because of climate change. And we see where many of our farmers no longer feel it's viable in the drought period. So what we're finding now, many of our farmers are not farming for the last 3 months. So we have to look at seriously at how we can protect the drought-riddled areas in investing in technology, in investing in AI, so that they can get back to being a part of the industry that has led them into production for so long.
Thank you, Miranda. So we're hearing about the need for protection. We are hearing about the need for empowerment of our farmers, and also an element of sustainability in those farming communities to ensure that they maximize what they have on the ground and can also make use of the new technologies. What are the policies for the PNP heading into government to answer to some of those questions and more?
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and of course our incoming Prime Minister. We called it, they confirm it, and we will win it. Now, Just some context to agriculture. We have over 262,000 registered farmers in Jamaica. And if you count those who are not registered with RADA, you have about 300,000. It is the main economic activity in rural Jamaica, accounting for 80% of the economic activity. We do have some challenges. 80% of the persons who farm, they're on 5 acres or less. And we developed some agri-parks a few years ago that has all of the infrastructure, the road, the irrigation, the drainage, and we only have 30% of the lands within the agri-parks currently under production. In terms of post-harvest loss, that is at 30%. And when you look at the arable lands that are irrigated, only about 15% of those lands are irrigated. There are several challenges that our farmers have, and we have put forward some solutions to address those at the root. And one of the proposals is to ensure that we put an agricultural development fund in place that will not see our people paying any new taxes. What has happened over the last 10 years is that the food importation bill in Jamaica has moved from $834 million per year to $1.6 billion, a 100% increase, and that is both in the monetary value and also the tonnage, which has also increased by a similar amount. From the taxes that we collect on those, whether it is the CET or it is the additional stamp duty, we are going to take a percentage of that, and that is what will put the funds in the Agricultural Development Fund. That fund we will use to ensure that we can make loans available to our farmers by capitalizing the PC banks. We'll ensure that we can work with irrigation, that they can have proper storage, that we can work with technology and just modernize what they do. It is also important for us to make land available to our farmers. Too many of them are on terrains that are not conducive, suitable for agriculture, and it doesn't lend to technology and mechanization. So we will put idle lands into the hands of the farmers by leasing them those and to ensure that they can put them on the production. In terms of our school feeding program that Senator Crawford spoke about, if you look at, and I'll just use 2 examples of constituencies that I'm familiar with. If you use Eastern Westmoreland, if you're in the Darliston area, you have Darliston Primary, you have Maud McLeod, just outside you have Enfield, and you have Chantilly. What we will do is, in order to provide that one warm meal, we will have our farmers produce those things. So the schools will have to do the menu and tell us what the needs are. So they would say to us that this school is going to require 500 pounds of Irish potato or 300 pounds of pumpkin or X amount of pounds of callaloo. And then we will send our local farmers to go and produce those things, and they will have a guaranteed market in the schools. We're going to spend $9 billion on that. So that will ensure that we are not only giving a nutritious meal to the students, but that the local farmers are also benefiting from our policy. We will put an agriculture special economic zone in place, which will come with all of the benefits that the special economic zones come with, the incentives and all those things. But the production in these areas will be export driven. So the items that we have a competitive advantage in, our spices, our yam, those items, our sea island cotton, those are the things that will be produced in those areas, and then we will increase what we earn. So there's currently a tremendous imbalance between what we are importing and what we are exporting, and we plan to ensure that agriculture can be that thing that people can generate wealth from the soil, and they can actually, by being involved in farming, they can break the shackles of poverty. We will also modernize what we do. Do you believe that you can use your phone to order something from China, but you can't use your phone to order something from Southeast or Southwest St. Elizabeth? So what we want to ensure is that we have the appropriate technology in place, that at all times we know what is under production, when is the expected maturity, what's the expected yield, so that way we will be able to control what is distributed in the market and in terms of imports. So we will not be allowing imports to run the way it is being run now, where there's just wanton distribution of import licenses. We will only go to imports when we cannot find those items locally. And in the import system that we'll have in place, it will be a transparent system.
For the people on TikTok, follow me over on YouTube, alright?
One that is geared
follow me over on YouTube, all of you and our 2.0,
farmers themselves. So if they're producing and they're selling,
you guys have yourselves a good night.
The items, then they will get some of the permits to import the items so that they can continue to take care of themselves and their families.
Profitable, equitable, and modern. Thank you very much, Comrade General Secretary. Now we have a young member of the audience joining us on stage with a question. Please introduce yourself and, of course, pose your question.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Sharian Henry, and to you, Dr. Dayton Campbell. You know, many young persons across Jamaica, we don't see agriculture as attractive, and it's all about getting your hands dirty. So how do you plan the People's Party, the People's National Party, when it forms the next government? How do you plan to digitize agriculture in Jamaica and make it more attractive?
Well, it is important for us to adopt to newer technologies if we're going to encourage or entice more persons to come into agriculture, young persons, female into agriculture. So it is a core part of what we have planned. We do have a SMART program, which is Sustainable Management of Agriculture through Research and Technology. So if you look at a youngster that would be out there now watching their parent plant an acre of lettuce, if that person was to use a hydroponic system, which doesn't involve soil at all, because what you need for things to grow, you need three things. You need sunlight, you need hydration, and you need nutrients. So by using a hydroponic system, if you set up, say, a 5,000 plant hydroponic system, and lettuce on the hydroponic system would take 5 weeks for it to mature, as opposed to 10 weeks in the soil, you would be able to plant 1,000 seedlings each week, and therefore after 5 weeks you'll start reaping 1,000. If each comes to a pound, you'll be reaping 1,000 pounds per week. If you're selling lettuce at $250,000 a pound, you'll be making $250 a pound, you'll be making $250,000 per week. So by showing young people these numbers, having the Agriculture Development Fund that can assist them with a start in setting up their infrastructure, we envision from that we'll be able to entice more persons to get involved in it. We'll also be focusing on backyard farming and urban farming so that more people can see the value of agriculture and can produce things even for their household needs. So it is something that we'll be working with the schools to just change the mindset. We were taught in a way that it is when you fail that you take up agriculture. A common saying in country is that, you know, the children don't make it and say, "Me have two farm for you," or whatever it is, to suggest that it is when you do not excel academically you go into farming. We want to change that mindset to make agriculture into a real career choice and show that you can generate wealth from it.
Dr. Campbell, I just wanted to add to that. We need to invest in value-added product. And a part of our manifesto is that we'll be looking on crops that are in excess. And we have to look at the other ways to make it profitable, because many of our young farmers may not be interested in the dirt farm, but the value-added products, such as our canning goods, teas, seasonings, and we have to look at the juices, the secondary level to production in agriculture. And I just wanted to add to that also, we have to look at the fact that we have to give our farmers a start again. We have to make them accessible to better loans in our credit unions. Farmers need a start also, not just small businesses. Farmers need to have access to better loan facilities, and this is what our manifesto showcases also. So I just wanted to add that part also.
Thank you very much, and thanks as well, Sharian, for posing a question from the audience. I think everyone here is stimulated and even more curious to scan that QR code download the full manifesto and put each of these conversations into context for what's happening in your community and your constituency. Sharing as well that we will be sharing in a sort of drip fashion, strategically, new elements of the manifesto. So we have the full manifesto available tonight, and of course we'll have it in audio version, and then in another couple of days you'll be exposed to Manifesto Light, which is not the light version of what we have ready tonight, but quick bursts of information on new, fresh policies and ideas. So when it's time for Manifesto Light, I want to make sure your belly is full from the Manifesto Heavy, so that we can have dessert together and explore what more is in store with the PNP. Thank you very much, Miranda Wellington, Dr. Dayton Campbell, and Sharian Henry. We're asking you to stay on stage as we make welcome another member of the creative and performing arts industry. Her name on her birth certificate is Janelle Owens, but as a performer, you may call her Yinga. Please welcome our violinist this evening, Yinga. education, modern infrastructure, agriculture, and now we are at innovation and industry. It's important for us to transform our economy, create new sectors, modernize traditional ones, and ensure that Jamaicans like Yinga, like Jody and Pantry, who have creative impetus and talent, have the opportunity to access resources and global markets. So I invite, in this section, we will have two speakers actually, but I will invite first the Member of Parliament for Western St. Andrew to share the vision we have for innovation and industry. Please welcome Mr. George Anthony Hilton.
All protocols observed. I want to especially recognize our next Prime Minister, Mark Jefferson Golden. From 2012 to 2016, the last PNP administration introduced to Jamaica in a fundamental way the concept of logistics as a functional area of the economy and a logistic hub as a strategy for economic growth. The next PNP administration will be making more complex and to point out the connection between the supply chain and the value chain and to drive industry in the process. So I'll be focusing on innovation and industry. So ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment that you're standing at a crossroads. Behind you lies a path we have walked for 63 years. A path paved with bauxite dust and tourist footprints on the sands of our seashores. Ahead of you stretches a new highway, one that we must build together. The question isn't whether change is coming to Jamaica. The question is, will we lead that change or will we be swept along by it? The only certainty in today's world is uncertainty. Global disruptions have become our new normal. But here's what I know about us Jamaicans. We don't just survive disruption. We dance with it. We turn crisis into creativity, challenges into championships. Let's be honest with ourselves. Our bauxite reserves won't last forever. Tourism, as wonderful as it is, leaves us vulnerable to every hurricane, every global pandemic, every economic shock that comes our way. And our over-reliance on remittances, now under significant threat, has undermined economic resilience and stifled domestic productivity, leaving a nation vulnerable and limiting long-term development. We've built our house on shifting sands, and it's time to pour a new foundation. But here's the beautiful thing about this moment. With every disruption comes an opportunity for reinvention. Think about it. The same digital revolution that threatens traditional industries is the same force that can connect a young programmer in Spanish Town to clients in Silicon Valley. The same climate change that challenges our agricultural sector can drive us towards becoming the Caribbean's first truly green economy. This is why we must embrace the PNP's initiative, Jamaica 4.0. Jamaica 4.0 is not a slogan, but a movement and a whole-of-nation approach. Jamaica 4.0 means building a knowledge-based economy where a brilliant mind in Mandeville is just as valuable as one in Manhattan. It means creating tech innovation zones in Montego Bay, Kingston, Mandeville, and Port Antonio. It means creating industrial parks in St. Thomas, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Trelawney, and St. Mary. Places where our young people don't have to leave home to change the world. Picture this as well. Jamaican farmers using AI, as was just said, to predict weather patterns and optimize crop yields. Or musicians, not just creating the sounds of the world, the soundtrack of the world, but owning the digital platforms that distribute it. Or manufacturers, not just assembling products, but designing them with smart technology that makes Made in Jamaica a mark of innovation, not just pride. Recently, I met a young woman, let's call her Keisha, who created an app that helps small farmers connect directly with restaurants in Kingston. She didn't need $1 million loan or a foreign partner. She needed what Jamaica 4.0 will provide: reliable internet, access to training, and a government that says yes instead of wait. But transformation is not magic. It's policy, it's methods, it's processes, it's strategy. It's all of us working together. We will modernize our existing trade agreements and widen our market access and reduce trade friction and boost Jamaica's competitiveness. We will develop our modern industrial strategy to help us seize the most significant opportunities and create the most favorable conditions in key sectors for the companies of the future to emerge here in Jamaica. A PNP government will revamp Jamaica's global image, damaged over the past 9 years. To promote Made in Jamaica as a badge of quality and reliability, and launch an aggressive country branding and investment promotion campaign. Logistics is the lifeblood of modern commerce, and Jamaica is uniquely positioned to be its beating heart in the Americas. We will build logistics hubs that position Jamaica as a gateway between the Americas and the world. We will create over 100,000 direct jobs and 400,000 indirect jobs, not in 5 decades, but in the next decade, anchored in a bold SEZ infrastructure strategy. We will modernize agriculture, as was just discussed, so our farmers don't just grow food, they grow opportunity, wealth, and food security for all. We will establish a National Logistics and Supply Chain Council, and National Innovation and a National Innovation Fund, because every breakthrough starts without someone who dares to dream differently.
True.
Let me say it clearly. because every breakthrough starts with someone who dares to dream differently. We will reform our education and workforce development systems because you can't build a 21st century economy with 20th century skills.
True.
This is our moment. This is our choice. This is our Jamaica 4.0. We won't just extract, we'll create. We won't just survive, we'll thrive. We won't just participate in the global economy, we'll help to shape it. 63 years ago, our parents and grandparents chose independence. Today, we must choose innovation. They chose to govern themselves correctly, I may add. We must choose to grow ourselves. They dreamed of a free Jamaica. We must build a sustainable economy with inclusive growth and opportunity for all. Jamaica 4.0 isn't just our economic plan. It is our promise to every child who dreams of building something great without leaving home. It's our commitment to every entrepreneur who sees opportunity where others see obstacles. It's our covenant with generation yet unborn. Ladies and gentlemen, the era of extraction is ending. The age of innovation has begun. And it starts with us, here, today. Welcome to Jamaica 4.0. Let's build our future together. I leave you with the following video presentation, 2 minutes video presentation. The future of Jamaica 4.0, logistics hub implemented. Time come.
The Jamaica 4.0 Growth with Opportunity program breaks new ground. In today's market climate, countries no longer compete on products or services alone, but on their contribution to the global value chain. Goods and services are no longer produced in a single location. They are assembled and delivered across a network of territories, each adding value to the final product. This global value chain is driven by opportunity. Jamaica's government must therefore create an internationally competitive business environment to join and thrive in this chain. Policy decisions directly influence foreign direct investment and, by extension, impact both local and international investor confidence, especially among multinational corporations. The next step is for Jamaica's policies to evolve, from concepts and studies to execution platforms, from incentive-driven frameworks to innovation hubs making significant value-added contributions to the global value chain. Only then can Jamaica become a catalyst for a new kind of business environment that delivers widespread local prosperity. Through its Jamaica 4.0, Growth with Opportunity, Jamaica will harness global economic dynamics to fuel domestic growth. And that is only the beginning. The 4 pillars of the program, best-in-class trade agreements, a forward-thinking industrial strategy, a bold investment promotion plan, and a global logistics initiative will form the foundation for a globally competitive economy. These tried and tested pillars, with tangible results across multiple industries, will define a roadmap for the program until 2030 and beyond. Beyond incentives, beyond growth, this will shape a global ecosystem where Jamaica becomes the gateway interconnecting the Americas to the world, building a new global trade order defined by connectivity, resilience, and opportunity.
one of our young, vibrant candidates, Miss Danishka Williams, Southwest Setan, to address culture and the creative industries.
Good evening. Let me also observe all protocols, but a very special good evening to our next Prime Minister of Jamaica, Comrade Mark Golding. Jamaica's cultural identity is one of our greatest treasures and one of our most valuable assets globally. From the pounding heartbeat of reggae and dancehall that moves people from here in Kingston to Tokyo in Japan, to the bold colors and textures of our fashion, from theater that brings stories to life, to dance floors that unite strangers in joy, from the wisdom of our storytellers and the brilliance of our designers, our culture carries the spirit, the voice, and the vision of our Jamaican people. Culture and the creative industry can no longer be viewed as just a matter of pride. Culture and the creative industry has to be viewed as an area of opportunity to help our Jamaican people thrive. The global creative economy is valued at more than $3 trillion US. Yet we know that in Jamaica, with our passion, our unmatched talent, and our originality, our Jamaican people deserve better. They deserve more. Time come for us to put our creatives first and ensure that the work that they put in are put on the global stage so that they can also thrive. Because as Bob Marley has done, we know there are many other creatives in Jamaica that can do the same and more. The People's National Party believes that culture and the creative sector are not just about entertainment and artistic expression. It is a serious driver of economic growth, of job creation and innovation. It is a vehicle for community transformation, and it is a pathway for our young people to turn their dreams into reality and into viable careers. Today we say, time come to invest in our people, to protect their work and to build the infrastructure that will take Jamaican culture further than ever before. Our approach is clear, our vision is bold, and our commitment to our people remains unwavering. First, we will invest in the creative industry like never before, establishing a $1 billion creative economy fund designed to support business development, content creation, training, and community-based arts. We will create a creative industry park and music heritage museum in none other than Trenchtown, honoring our icons while nurturing the next generation of talent. And across the island, from Portland to St. Anne to Westmoreland, we are improving small studios, creative hubs, and community venues, so no corner in Jamaica is left out of this creative movement. And secondly, as one of the youngest candidates here, we are proud to say that we will also be investing in our young people, placing special focus on youth employment and capacity building. We will open doors for our young people through internship and mentorship in every creative field. We will retool the Creative Production and Training Center, the Media Technology Institute, with cutting-edge training in film, animation, in music and audiovisual production. And from early childhood classrooms to adult learning centers, we are prepared to expand the cultural curriculum. Because creativity is not just an inborn gift. We know it must be nurtured at every stage of life. The third thing we will do is strengthen business development and regulation for creatives. Through Jamaica Creative, Through Jamaica Creatives, we will help artists and innovators become investment ready and market their work globally. We will introduce a national business certification program for creatives, revise outdated trade policies, create special entertainment zones that are properly planned with community input. And I've identified one in my constituency, and I know my colleagues have done the same. And we will simplify entertainment licensing through a single national system. Fourth, we will ensure policy reform and institutional strengthening. We will reinstate and empower the National Cultural and Creative Industry Commission, streamline government agencies to remove duplication. And if you're in the industry, you know how important that is. And ensure that public funds for creative projects are spent transparently and fairly. Let me go again. We will ensure that public funds for the creative projects are spent transparently and fairly. We will repatriate important Jamaican artifacts held overseas and modernize our museums and galleries. And yes, we will bring back the cultural passport program so our young people can put the devices down and experience the richness of our Jamaican culture firsthand. We have a plan to bring culture and tourism together, finally, in a way that benefits our communities. We will work hand in hand with the Ministry of Tourism to reinstate and promote community festivals to ensure that Jamaican culture is at the center of our tourism identity. So when my tourists are going to Bob Marley in 9 Mile, they can stop in Alexandria and enjoy some opportunities and some good fun with my constituents. And finally, we'll give national recognition to 2 giants of Jamaican culture. We will confer the honor of National Hero on the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley, who, might I add, is from my constituency, and the Honorable Louise Bennett Coverley, in recognition of their enduring legacies and the way they carried Jamaica to the world with dignity, authenticity, and brilliance. Ladies and gentlemen, the People's National Party understands this simple truth. Culture is not a side note. It's not a side hustle.
Oh man, talk about
Culture is the heart of our story as Jamaicans.
Right.
It is the very heartbeat of this nation. When we invest in our creatives, we are investing in Jamaica's future. When we protect our cultural heritage, we are strengthening our identity. And when we take our talent to the world, we are claiming our rightful place in the global economy. So let us build a Jamaica where creative people thrive, our culture shines, and our economy grows. Time come for the creative economy to take center stage. Time come for Jamaica to lead the world, not just in rhythm, but in revenue, in recognition, and in respect. Jamaica, time come for our creatives. Thank you.
gentlemen, I could not have said it better to round out that conversation on innovation and industry. Culture is not a side note, it's not a side hustle. It is truly the soul of our nation. Give it up one more time for our two representatives this evening, exploring what innovation and industry will look like under a PNP government, MP Anthony Hilton and MP to be Danishka Williams. Now, our next speaker and presenter is no stranger to those of us who walk the hallowed halls of TikTok daily. He is known for creating some of the most engaging pieces of content that humor us, but also call us to think deeply about the things we might overlook or take for granted. Now, one of the things I've learned is that it takes a sharp, witty mind and a wise soul to give a good joke. So fun and joke aside, our next speaker is a serious leader and he is deeply committed to not just reforming and tinkering and fiddling with our healthcare sector, but transforming it entirely. Prioritizing a patient-first approach to how we treat with our vulnerable populations and not just centering on healing the sick, but a focus on prevention and wholesome wellness. Please join me in welcoming our speaker to explore our next pillar on Mission Jamaica Love, care for the vulnerable and health services, Dr. Alfred Dawes, the next Member of Parliament for Southeast St. Catherine.
All protocols observed. A special greeting to the next Prime Minister of Jamaica. Comrades and Jamaicans here and online, good evening. I am not here tonight to sell a manifesto. I'm here tonight to invite you on a journey. It is a journey of creating a world-class healthcare sector. It is a journey towards good healthcare with dignity, where you are treated like and feel like Smaddy Picnic. It is a journey to reform healthcare because for too long we have been kicking the reform can down the road, and now we are at the end of that road. We are reforming healthcare to meet the needs of the people, not what looks good with optics and marketing. The people have suffered long enough. They have cried too often. Billions spent with lives not saved, but friends enriched. The People's National Party will not boast of the money that is spent. It will boast of the lives saved. And I am not just here because you can read the manifesto. I am going to say the team that is going to implement these policies care deeply about the health of the nation, led by a prime minister with medicine in his DNA. 3 generations of excellent doctors, with Sir John Golding planting the seeds that has allowed him to select a team that is going to go far beyond what Sir John himself did. I have been the doctor who decides who gets a bed and who gets to sit in a chair for days because there are no more beds. I have been the doctor who decides who gets oxygen because oxygen is low. I have been a part of the medical team that has decided who gets to go into ICU for that one available bed and who has to die. And that is not a responsibility that you would want to wish on your worst enemy, but it is a responsibility that is faced every day by our healthcare workers. You don't want to be those healthcare workers, and worse, you do not want to be that patient or relative. Billions wasted, millionaires created. Even as more mothers die during childbirth than 30 years ago, more babies are dying than 10 years ago, than 20 years ago. More Jamaicans now are suffering under this healthcare sector. And the tears of the grieving relatives for those who have passed demand change. It is not through infrastructural projects, not an ivory tower at the University Hospital of the West Indies, when so many clinics and hospitals lack staff and basic equipment to care for those who come to their doors. The needs of the patients and the staff need to be addressed and not the needs of the politician. It cannot be that policies are guided by ribbon cutting over service. Nothing short of comprehensive reform of the entire healthcare sector is acceptable. The regional health authorities, over 20 years now, we know that there is needed some level of reform, and we will make those painful reforms. We will change administrative functions. We will fix the wastage of money. We will drill down on the procurement issues that are facing the Ministry of Health. There will be a comprehensive review of how we fund the Ministry of Health and a comprehensive review of how we spend the dollars in the Ministry of Health. And above all, we will have care.
People join me over Bolivian
and this
2.0 here.
That you will have care with dignity from the womb